Stay Zayd Mishnah. Amud Yomi. Welcome to the Amud Yomi Shiur. Today we're going to learn about the topic of Dvorim Shebalev Einam Dvorim. When you say one thing and you mean something else, what's the halach? Think it's simple, it's not. So we are in the Mishnah now, Kiddushin, Daf Mem Tes Amud Beis, in the bottom of the page. Al Menas Shani Kohen. A man told a woman, Haret Mekudeshesli, on condition that I'm a Kohen, and she kept quiet, smiling away, looking like, she's absolutely cool about it. And he made the conditions, I Mekadesh you on condition that I'm a Kohen. And she seems to agree to that, meaning that if he's not a Kohen, it's not Kiddushin, right? V'nimtza Levi, lawyer. Yeah, it comes out that he's a Levi and not a Kohen, and she did not know about it at the time of Kiddushin. Yeah, she was not aware of it, she only discovered it after the Kiddushin, right? So at the time of the Kiddushin, she thought that he's fulfilling his night and he's a Kohen. And she wants to marry a Kohen, we assume, because the Kohen is more choshuv, is more meyuchas. And really, he's a Levi, v'nimtza Kohen. Oh, that's an upgrade. Yeah, he said, I'm a Levi. Comes out, he's better than what she thought. Still, it's the same thing, and we say that it doesn't matter. Why? She made a condition that she wants a Levi, she doesn't want a Kohen. Even Rab Shimon in the previous Mishnah says, sometimes too good is too good. In other words, I want a simple guy like me. I don't need a Kohen to, be all snobbish and stuck up about me and look at me, as if I'm, second-class citizen. Nosin v'nimtza mamzer. Let's say she's a gioire, so she's a mamzero. And she's allowed to marry people like a nosin and mamzer. What's a nosin? A nosin is really like a mamzer, but with the rabbanon. A nosin is a descendant of the people who came the times of either Yeshua or Joshua, one of the two. And they came and they lied to everybody and they said that they are from far away and therefore they should not be killed. They're not one of the Shiva Samomim. It was a lie and they already, what? They give oinim, right? And because Yeshua gave his word to them, they couldn't kill them, so they made them into woodcutters and water carriers. But the status is very low in halacha, and with the Rabbanon, David the Melech said that they should be, tantamount to mamzerim. However, mamzer is also midoraisa to marry, and nosin is not only also midorabanon. Now that girl is allowed to marry either nosin or mamzer because she's a mamzeris or gioris. But still, even within those lower castes, if to speak like that, like in India, yeah, lavdil. So the lowest caste is a mamzer, and one above is a nosin. So he told her, I'm a nosin, and really, when he's a mamzer, she was sure she's marrying a nosin when you put the ring on her finger. A day later, she finds out that he's a mamzer. Yeah, wow, expose. Mamzer v'nimtza nosin. She wanted to marry mamzer. She wanted to marry the lowest of the low, and it's an upgrade. He's a nosin. She doesn't want that. Why? That was the condition. Conditions have to be fulfilled either way. Ben ir v'nimtza ben krach. He told her, and there was a condition in the marriage that he's a ben ir, that he lives in an ir. I'm not translating this into city on purpose. V'nimtza ben krach. Ir is a smaller town. Krach is a bigger city. That's the difference maybe in English between town and city. Lamaisa, as we all know from Hilchas Purim, Krach is a walled city, but Krach is also a bigger city, right? So let's say he told her, I live in an Ir, I live in Bet Shemesh, yeah, and really he lives in Tel Aviv, Ben Krach. So now to live in a big city, well, as opposed to what we may think, is not so good. Why? Rashi says, Yeshiva Kosher, Krach Mokim Shvokim, Yokir Motsui. Big cities are more expensive, like today, and they're very busy. Yeah, she finds herself in Manhattan, and she thought she was going to live in a village. Yeah, so then, yeah, what's the story? It's not what she expected. The condition wasn't fulfilled. Ben krach v'nimtza ben ir, which is, let's assume, is an upgrade. Yeah, she wanted to live in a big city, hustle bustle. She loves Manhattan. Nimtza ben ir. Yeah, he takes her to some quiet corner. Al menashe beisikov lamerchatz. He made a condition. My house is near the merchatz. You know that back then people didn't have showers in their house. What would they have? Merchatz, a public bathhouse. It's very convenient when your house is near a merchatz. When you sell a house, yeah, what do you write nowadays? Next to shul, next to a school. Back then would be next to what? Back then it was next to a merchatz. In Israel, they say next to a voting station. Because you have to go there every week, so a new house, Bet Shemesh, near voting station. Yeah, so Nimtza Rochok, he lied to her through his teeth. Really, he lives far away from the merchatz. Every day she has to walk 10 kilometers. Rochok v'nimtza korev, far away from Beis HaMerchatz was a condition. Comes out that he lives near the Beis HaMerchatz, which may be an upgrade, but different people have different tastes. Maybe she wants to live far away from the Beis HaMerchatz, too noisy. Al menas sheyesh lo bas o shivcha megudeles ve'en lo. Oh, that's a story we dealt with last week. A person says, I have an older girl who can cook, clean, change diapers, do anything. She's better than any maid. Yeah, or shivcha megudeles, or I have an older shivcha, a shivcha that can do all the jobs. The megudeles means one of two things. Either three things. She's big, she's meaning older enough to do the housework, the chores. Megudeles may mean that she's choshuv, people consider an important person, that girl or the shivcha. Or megudeles means she's a hairdresser. She does the hairdos. So he says, I have a girl like that, so that should be okay with you. It should be an advantage for you because she can do a lot of things. She can do all the housework and the hairdo. And it comes out that he doesn't have such a girl. No, Stam, he was lying. He says, I don't have such help at home. Comes out that he does have such a girl. Why is that a downgrade? Even according to Rabbi Shimon. Remember last Mishnah, what did Rabbi Shimon say? Rabbi Shimon said in the previous Mishnah that financial upgrades are considered to be good, even if it's a surprise. Let's say he told Almanas that I'm poor and really is rich. Wow, I was just pulling your leg. So then Rabbi Shimon says it's good because at the end of the day, money, there's a gain here. So even though it's not what you expected, she is happy with the Evan. Here, although having an older girl who's going to do the housework is a financial help, you don't have to hire another girl. She's already comes as part of the furniture, as they say. But there's also big disadvantage. Why? This shivcha can start talking about her because she goes to braid everyone's hairs all around town. She'll start chatting and talk about that woman. And because she's choshuv, people are going to listen to her. I don't need that. I don't need another competition here who's going to start talking about everything I do and everything I think and everything I want. I don't need that. And therefore, either way, even according to Reb Shimon, any change, even in this case, even though there's a financial touch to it, once a condition was not fulfilled, nishtka marriage, it's not marriage. It says, I don't have children, which is good. She wants to, right? She wants to enter marriage without memories from previous marriages. And he has children, a lie. Oil manas sheyesh loy ve'en loy, right? The other way around. He says, I have children, and then comes out he doesn't have. Maybe she wants to have extra children from him. Yeah, she likes to play with little kids. Ubekulam. Now, all of this, non-Kiddushin. Yeah, the condition wasn't fulfilled. Either it's a positive or negative surprise. What do we say? The Kiddushin is not Kiddushin. Now, that part of the mission is going to answer your question from last week. Ubekulam, in all these cases, afal pi she'omro, even if she said eventually, belibi hoylis kadesh loy, yeah, afal pi chen, which means, let's say the lady at the chuppah told her, hey, at mekudeshes li, al menat she, pick your choice, al menat she en libonim. Oh, mazel tov. So she's like, en libonim, sure, en libonim. And then they come home and she's greeted by 5 little pitzkalach. And then she says to the rabbi, Rabbi, really, I didn't mind. I love him so much. I don't mind. Although I went along with his conditions, in my heart, I didn't really mind, even if he would have children, right? I went along with what he said. I was like nodding away like a nice girl under the chuppah. But really, in my heart, I didn't really mind if the condition is fulfilled or not. That's what she says. She's not mekudeshet. Why? Because if he's making a condition and you are cruising along with his condition, you're going with the flow and you're not protesting, right? So what's in your heart, we don't have X-ray into your heart. And you are saying, in my heart, I really didn't want Dafka to fulfill the condition. Okay, even without the condition, we don't care about what you think. We care about what you say, or with your silence, which is silence of consent, called in Old French, shtika koridor. The chenhishit also, shtika koridor. The chenhishit also, excuse me, monsieur. The chenhishit also, 1 second, and so too, she, if the same thing exactly would be the other way around. Yeah, she says to him, I'll be miskadish to you on condition that I'm a Kohenes, I'm a Levi, I have children, I have a shivcha, blah, blah, blah. I live in the city, I live in the pin, I live in the merchatz. Same thing works the other way around, absolutely equal. Yes, Rabbi. Questions? Yeah. Obviously, she needs a get. No, she doesn't get. Sorry. She doesn't need a get. Why? Because she didn't want, because the condition was fulfilled. Maybe l'chum or something, not to make her a din. No. She does need to get because there's no kiddushin, because the condition was not fulfilled. The marriage was on both sides. There was a condition with an understanding that X is going to happen and really Y is what happened. So she's not mekudeshes. Again, I haven't seen your older Rishonim, but maybe there's some Chumrah somewhere. But the Pashtus, no. The Pashtus of the words of the Mishnah and the Gemara is there's no need for a get. Why? Because no, the condition that which was clear, verbal, outright condition, which wasn't fulfilled. So the marriage never began. You wanted, you thought. Thoughts are very. That's going to be the topic now. Dvorim Shabalev. Yeah, when you say one thing and you think about something else. Zok Gemore story time. I'm very privileged to sit here with people all made Aliyah. Wow. Yeah, only I'm the only one who didn't make Aliyah. Says the Gemara, I'm downgraded. Says the Gemara, Ahu Gavra the Zabin Lenichse, real story. Ahu Gavra, there was a man, yeah, in Bovel, I assume, the Zabin Lenichse, he sold his property, sold his house, Adaita Lamesa Kleot soil, and in his mind, the reason why he sold his house in Bovel or in Cherry Hill was in order to make Aliyah, Lemesak, to go up to Eretz Yisrael. Okay, that was what he had in mind. At the time of the sale, when he sold his house, yeah, he did not say anything. He just said, I'm selling my house. In his heart, he knew that he's only going to sell the house in order to go to Eretz Yisrael. But if he ends up not going to Eretz Yisrael, then he's not interested in selling the house. Yeah, he's not selling the house because he wants to make money or because he wants to move next door. He's selling the house in order to move to Eretz Yisrael. If the moving to Eretz Yisrael won't be matzliach, I'm not talking about moving and then being unsuccessful. The Gemara will talk about that too, believe it or not. Nothing's new. We're talking about a guy who, yeah, on his way to JFK, I don't know, something happened, and then another thing, wasn't matzliach to go up to Eretz Yisrael. Then what's the story? He goes back to the buyer and says, listen, my only understanding was, me, the seller, I sold it in order to go to Eretz Yisrael. But now I didn't manage to go to Eretz Yisrael, so I want the sale to be annulled, to be revoked. What do you say? No way. So now the Gemara is Mechadesh, these are literally words in the heart. These are unspoken words. You never mention as you were selling the house, you want to go to Eretz Yisrael. And whatever you don't speak out clearly is nothing. Question. I also have sometimes I also have questions, you know. The question is, obviously, I need the Gemara to tell me that. Tim McKenzie also knows that. You're going to get Tim McKenzie's one. He's a good friend here, yeah. Even Tim McKenzie, yeah, knows that. What? Obviously, yeah. What's a chiddush? Yeah, I'm selling the house. Almanasi, you'll jump around hula hoop. Obviously, yeah. Say the Rishonim. There are two things that we have to discuss. The answer to my question is the Tesis Rezoken, the Ritva, everybody says the same thing. I'm reading from Tesis Rezoken. Shamina lemikoro shemi pnei zel yerotzelim konechosov. This guy was known to be the big Eretz Yisrael lover of Cherry Hill. Yeah, I'm stop picking a place. Doesn't? Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, he's the one who everybody knows is the one who always wants to go to Eretz Yisrael. And he voiced his opinion many, many times. I want to go to Eretz Yisrael. And everybody knows that he's selling his house. Makes a lot of sense from the background of the person that he wants to go to Eretz Yisrael. And obviously that's why he's selling his house. And there are very, very good chances that the buyer knows that too. However, look at the words of the Gemara. The Gemara says in the second to last line, since at the time of the sale, he didn't mention it, that's why it's nothing. And that's a chiddush. Although everybody knows, including you, Mr. Buyer, you who bought my house in Cherry Hill, you know that I want to go to Eretz Yisrael, right? Don't you understand that if my Aliyah doesn't actually come to fruition, I never leave America because something happened? Don't you understand that this is a condition? No. The answer is no. Since at the time of the sale it wasn't mentioned, therefore that's a chiddush. You have to say it at the very same time when you sign the contract, when you do the chves sakin and chazaka, then you have to say it, and you didn't. That falls under the definition of dvorim shablev enam dvorim. Okay. Now another point here the Tosfos makes, and Rashi and Tosfos both in different ways. They say that it doesn't say that even he has to make a condition, which means let's at the time of the sale he said, I'm selling your house, I'm selling my house to you, and because I'm moving to Eretz Yisrael. He didn't really make a condition with all the, excuse the pun, conditions of a condition. As we know, and we're going to see in Daf Samech Aleph, Halacha has 3 or 4 ways, conditions, how conditions should be made, right? He should say, if I go to Eretz Yisrael, then I sell you, and if not, I'm not selling you. Yeah, it should always be double, like the conditions of Bnei Gad, Bnei Reuven, yeah, with the Transjordan area that they got. So even though here he didn't make the Tanai clearly, there's a concept called Anan Sahadi. If everybody knows that this guy wants to go to Eretz Yisrael, and that's the only reason we're selling the field, that's called Anan Sahadi. And he says, I'm selling you my house, look, because I'm going to Eretz Yisrael. Even if he didn't make all the conditions, but it's very, very clear because he said it at the time of the sale. That's good enough. Anan Sahadi means we are witnesses. It's as if we are witnesses that this is his kavanah. But if he said it before and he just sort of understood in the general atmosphere, but he didn't say it at the time of the sale, it's dvorim shabalev. Yeah, and therefore the buyer can tell him, I'm sorry, I'm not moving. I'm staying here in my house in Cherry Hill. He didn't mention it at all at the time of the sale. Did I know you're going to Eretz Yisrael? I know a lot of things about you. And you have two eyes and you have one nose. Very nice. It does make a difference to me. You didn't make it b'chlal as a condition, not even an ansadi. I only knew it in general. That's still called dvorim shabalev. Yeah, it's unspoken words, and they do not have any halachic validity or ramification. And that is the rule which we're going to now follow through the entire Amud of today. Now we're starting today's Amud. How does Rava know that? Meaning, how does Rava know what? Let's now redefine things. How does Rava know that even if it's like sort of self-understood from the background, from the atmosphere, from things you know from the past, that the Tanai or the, let's say, the Maisa has certain conditions, but it wasn't mentioned at the time of the sale, at the time of the actual, it wasn't verbally clearly said. How do you know that it has no validity, which is a chiddush? How do you know that? Let's see where Rava takes it from. Let's see the following story number one. Maybe from this case. Oh, no. It says at the beginning of Vayikra, not far away, in about 3 weeks, we're going to see Vayikra. Yakriv oiso. It says at the beginning of Vayikra, if a person wants to bring an oila, because it's his own thing to bring an oila and a dova voluntarily, he's not mechuyev to bring it. Yeah, a person brings an oila. An oila sometimes is also kapora, as we're going to see. It's kapora on bitul aseh. Yeah, let's say a person didn't put on tefillin, can bring korban oila. Yeah, so let's say it says there yakriv oiso. There are extra words. It says he should sacrifice. He should bring the korban to Beis Hamikdash. And these are extra words because it said already before yakrivenu. And again, the Chumash seems to be redundant, saying again, twice, you bring the korban. What's it coming to say? Milamed. It comes to teach me. Shekoifin oisoi. Koifin oisoi. If the person was noider, says, I'm making a neder, yeah, hare zu oila, right? Or hare olai oila. Hare olai oila. I have to bring a korban oila. And then he says, no, I don't want to. No, not interested. Koifin oisoi. You force him. Beis Din comes and forces him. You know they force him? They hit him until he brings his korban. Wow. Yochol bal korchoi. Can he bring the korban against his own will? He's not interested now. Now, why do we whip him? Obviously, he's not mechuyev to bring a korban. But once he put his foot in it and he committed himself to bring a korban, Baruch Hashem, he did. Then what? Once you're in it, you have to we force you to follow along and continue to follow up. But can he do it against his will? Yeah, should a person bring a korban and there's the hands chained, so to speak? Talmud, no. It has to be his own will. How could that be? Yeah, how can you hit a person and then what? And then you say it's his own will. What do you mean? And that's a famous one. You force him until he says, I want. Yeah, you give him a whip or 2 or 3 until he says, okay, I want. Soon we're going to see the famous Rambam. Yeah, in other words, he says, I want, so he's like coerced, but he says verbally, I am interested to bring the korban, and brings the korban. Now, frag the Gemara, how that works psychologically, we're going to discuss later. Now let's see the technical details. Ba'amai, frag the Gemara, why? What do you mean he wants? In his heart, he's not interested. Oh, again, the same thing. Look what's going on over here. In his mouth, he says, yes, I want. We obviously assume that in his heart, he doesn't want. Why does he say I want? Because we whip him. Obviously, he would say I want. That's Dvorim Shabalev, right? In other words, you see that in his heart, he thinks one thing. In his mouth, he says something else. Oh, that's a point. That's a good proof for Rava. Great. Elalav must be Mishum Damrina, because we say Dvorim Shabalev and then Dvorim. Very good. Although, mamish like we said before, you see a person saying, I am interested. If you only have the transcript, yeah, what the stenographer writes in Beis Din, he said, I want to bring a korban. But when you see the picture, the video, you see him, I want. So you see from the background, that he doesn't want. Yeah, again, we have this stira. Verbally says I want, and physically or the background, the idea is forced. So you see, we only care about what the person says. We don't care about how he feels or the background idea. Maybe that's a good source for Rova. Zog the Gemara, no, the Dilma Shani Hosum. Maybe over there it's different. You can't bring a proof from over there. Why? The Anan Sahadi, again, you see the word Anan Sahadi? Anan Sahadi means it's equivalent to being witnesses. We are witnesses. Anan Sahadi means it's something, a very, very strong psychological assumption. Like we for sure know the Nichale Bekaporo. Oh, we know that this guy deep down is a good Jew. Oh, let's get Musardik, like the Rambam says in Ilchas Gittin, Perek Beis, Halacha Chaf. Says the Rambam, every Jew is a good Jew. Oh, I'm of war. Yeah, and really, what inside the Jew wants to do Ratzon Hashem is Yetzer Hara forces him not to do Ratzon Hashem, but really inside he wants to do what he wants, the real thing. Which means we have three levels to his personality now. Yeah, this is almost like Freudian psychology over here. In the very inside, what does he want? He wants to do Ratzon Hashem. He wants to bring the korban. Middle level, he just read online somewhere in a bad website. Yeah, the word that it's not good to bring a korban. Third level, the conscious, what he says is, I want to bring the korban. So Yetzer Hara is sandwiched between the words I want and between the real inner self, the spark that's connected to Hashem that says I want. That's not the same like our story of the guy of going to Eretz Yisrael. There you only have 2 levels. Here there are 3 levels, which means here it's although he's chained or not chained, although he's being whipped, we know that inside he really wants it, but we still want him to say I want also on the outside to actually get him to bring it. Yeah, otherwise his will would be theoretical, and therefore it's not a good raya. Here we only have 2 levels. Yeah, there's going to Eretz Yisrael, and there is some selling the house. Yeah, so it doesn't reflect one on the other. Right there, Ela miseifa. It says in the seifa of the same source. Same thing you found about Gita Noshim, a man who is forced to give a get to his wife. Oh, a get, sadly, that happens today too. Yeah, you have a get, refuseniks. The Shiur Avodim, unfortunately, Shiur Avodim, a person, usually you're not supposed to free your Eved, but sometimes you are. For example, when you own half an Eved, right? And the Eved has no way to get married, then you would force him to liberate him. So let's stick to Gitei Noshim. A man is a nasty piece of work, and he's not giving a get to his wife. What do you do, Mikra Adin? Today in Israel, they put him in jail, but really, no. Really, they should whip him until he gives a get. It's that simple, right? That should be the solution to all the Aguna problems. Yeah, it's a Western world who they're making halacha. They change halacha, and then they complain about halacha, right? If you really follow halacha, they take the guy, boom, it's illegal to hit him. So they change the halacha, and then they complain the Yiddishkeit is cruel to women. You're cruel to women. Whip the guy until he gives a get and gabarnu. That's 5 minutes. Yeah, let's just off the soapbox. Okay, now you force Mr. Get refuseniks until he says yes, I want, and he gives a get, and she is free. Same idea. Why? Why do you say that he really wants it? Because get me'use is straight. A get me'use, you should know. I actually read once in a halacha article, and that's Tosis is mentioning it here. Then in New York, I guess you know about it better than me. In New York, there was a problem once because they put in jail. People refuse to give get or something. But if goyim do it, it's a problem. Because if a goy is the one who is forcing the Jew to give a get, that's it. Get me'use. Get me'use means that the man doesn't give it, from his own will, free will, but somebody forced him to do it. We're going to discuss it soon. Yeah. And that's why when wait. So get me'use means, that's why I have to say roitzani. Wait till the end. If you just force him, you piece of this, give a get to the poor woman there, and he gives a get, that's not good. He has to say roitzani, I want. We have to force consent out of him, like before, and then he gives her the get, and then it's not called get me'use, because it said roitzani. I'll promise you I'll explain everything, but this is how it works. In order that it shouldn't get me'use, he has to mouth the words I want, and then he gives her the get. Same question, Vamai. How does that help? It's a sham, it's a game, it's a show. First wide line. He clearly doesn't want. He made her life a misery for, let's say, I don't know, 2 years. And then what? And now he's forced. That's what it says, Roitzani. Elalav. Wait, Rov is good. Rov should be happy now. Yishum damrin advarim shabalev and advarim. Same thing. You see. You see what? Although he's saying one thing, but he seems the background context seems to be what? Not so. He's not so such a happy camper. He's not happy about it. But you follow what he says, not what he thinks. No, good. That's Rov advarim shabalev and advarim. Dogdim or no, Dil Mashani Hosom. I'm getting to you, parents. Maybe over there it's different. The Gemara is now rejecting. No, it's not a good source for Rava. Why? Mishum the mitzvah lishma divrei chachomim. Hashem loves us, which means it's a mitzvah to listen to divrei chachomim. That person who get refuseniks, again, same idea. Inside, in the inner of his heart, in the inner chambers of his heart, he wants to fulfill Ratzon Hashem and do what chachomim say. Now, the chachomim tell him give a get. There's no mitzvah to give a get, but there's a mitzvah to listen to the chachomim who tell you to give a get. So really, he wants to do the same idea as before. His inside want to what give a get. In the middle, there's a big layer of Yetzer Hara that's disturbing him. We are coaxing out the good out of him, and although it seems that he's forced, but we really know that he really wants. So his heart, in the inner parts of his heart, and his words, ani roitze, are together. Why, parents? Because he wants to listen to chachomim. But if the one who forces him to give him a get is a good friend, Tim McKenzie, Tim came with a whip and says, you give a get to your wife, and then he gives a get, that doesn't work because he doesn't want to listen to Tim McKenzie. He wants to listen to the rabbis. Yeah, the rabbis from Brooklyn, not to Tim McKenzie. And that's why over there it doesn't help. It's tam a get meuseh. But if it's a get meuseh through chachomim, it's not really meuseh because really we are forcing the good out of him to listen to the chachomim. But Bekitzer, Rava doesn't yet have, we're not questioning Rava, but we don't yet have a source for Rava. Because those cases are not a classical Dvarim Shabalev of I say X and I mean Y. There it's I say X, I behave Y, and I really mean X inside. So it's not the same as Rava. Ela Amar Rav Yosef, Ellen, you want to say something? Ela Amar Rav Yosef, yeah, good. Are we good friends today? Ela Amar Rav Yosef, I'm listening to every word you say. Ela Amar Rav Yosef. We're now looking for another source for Rava's concept of Dvorim Shabalev Einam Dvorim. Mehocha, from here, I found the source for Rava. Amekadesh Isha. That's a Mishnah which we'll see later on. Listen carefully to the words of the Mishnah. A person was Mekadesh Isha. He married a woman. The Omar Kasovo Aisi Shi Kohenes. Did you hear the words? I thought she was a Kohenes. What do you mean? I thought she was a Kohenes? I assumed she was a Kohenes. Did she tell him that? No. He assumed so. He assumed she was a Kohenes. Maybe by the way she mentioned it in the past, in the first date, she made him understood the date 10 times. There was some kind of understanding, but there was no condition. There's no unconditioned I'm a Kohenes. He sort of thought, understood. You know, do you know that sometimes people marry, they get into marriage and they discover things they didn't know before? You never knew that. I'm bursting your bubbles. The first time you heard that, right? Yeah, it happens sometimes, yeah. So, yeah, right, you came here to hear new things, yeah? Including all the horror stories, yeah, about people on pills, yeah. So then, whoops, he thought she was a Kohenes, and really she was just a Levia, a simple girl. He Levia, Venim says Kohenes, Ania, Berei Ashira. He thought she was poor. All of a sudden, he see her driving in her, whatever, Rolls Royce, yeah. Ashira, Berei Ania. He thought she was rich, really she's poor. So, Mikudeshet, why? She's Mikudeshet. The marriage is a good marriage. Why? Neshaloit also, yeah. She never misled him. She never said that. She didn't say it, or at least not as a condition. She didn't make him think that way, right? Okay? So, V'amai, why is that? Ha'ka'omer kasover isi. But let's say we know that this guy always was looking for a rich girl. That's not science fiction. He wanted a rich girl, a rich shver. Everybody knows he wants a rich girl, a rich shver, a rich thing to sit and learn in Lakewood for the next 37 and a half years, right? And then what? Kasover isi. I thought she was rich. Don't you know I wanted a rich girl? But nothing was mentioned. Oh, so what? But everybody knows I wanted a rich girl and not this pauper. Isn't it self-explanatory, self-understood from the background that that's what I wanted? Well, no. You see that the Kiddushin is Kiddushin, right? Because he didn't verbalize it clearly. Ela mishum damrinan. We see that Rava is right. We see that Dvarim Shabalev in Dvarim. Very good. You see from that Mishnah, unspoken words, although the background allows you to understand it, but if it wasn't clearly said, no conditions, it's Dvarim Shabalev. So you see, Rava has a source from the next Mishnah. Zog the Gemara, Abaye, as usual, Abaye always likes to challenge Rav Yosef, if you noticed, his Rebbe. Yeah, Abaye always challenges his Rabbi Yosef, Rav Yosef mainly. Abaye tells Rav Yosef, well, how do you know? Dilma shani hosam de lechumra. Oh, see, Ellen, what you said before is true now. Maybe there is just the chumra, which means maybe really, yeah, you could say that we're not sure whether we follow Dvarim Shabalev, Enam Dvarim, yes or no. And in case of doubt, do without. In other words, we're talking here about Ashes Ish. That's a heavy, heavy, heavy one. As we've seen many times before, and we see now again, sometimes she needs a get l'chumra. In other words, we're not sure whether maybe Dvarim Shabalev really are Dvarim. Maybe Dvarim Shabalev are really, yes, we have to take that into account. Because we're not sure, yeah, we play it safe and we give her a get l'chumra. But it doesn't mean that lekula in our Mishnah, it's the other way around, right? Or in the case of the one who sold his house, yeah, you clearly tell me Dvarim Shabalev and Dvarim, nothing, right? And the guy who bought the house in Cherry Hill stays in the house. Why? It's not even a suffix. We don't even have a suffix here. No, we say clear Dvarim Shabalev. You can't bring a raya from there. Maybe there we're unsure. So to play it safe, we say give her a get. Rashi brings the beautiful nafkamina. What would be if she receives Kiddushin from another guy? Let's say she gets Kiddushin from a second person after that dubious marriage. She may need also Kiddushin from a get from the second guy because it's a suffix. Maybe we're just playing it safe, but we don't know 100% Dvarim Shabalev Dvarim. Therefore, Abaye brings another source, a safer source. Mehocho, bekulam, yeah, in all these cases, yeah, afal pi shomer belibio liskadish loy afal pichen eina mekudeshes. Hey guys, that's our case. Look, that's our Mishnah. We saw at the end of our Mishnah. A woman said, "In my heart, I really loved him so much. I really loved him, and I don't care if he has an older girl, if he doesn't." If he's rich, poor, if he's gold, if he's next to the bathhouse, not. I went, yes, yes, yes. You know, I didn't want to ruin the fun, but in my heart, I didn't mind. Oh, and yet we say we don't care about what's in your heart. We assume you wanted the condition, and you only wanted him on condition that he's rich or near the bathhouse. In other words, you don't want him. And here we make a huge kula, eina mekudeshes. That's what I told you, Ellen. She's not mekudeshes at all. We don't even require a get. Wow, wow, wow. In other words, we follow Dvarim Shabalev so strongly that we don't say Dvarim Shabalev up to the point that we let the potential Eshes Ish not be with her husband to go free without a get. Because we're so clear, even Lekula, we're taking Dvarim Shabalev. As the Gemara says it better than me. V'amai, why don't you care about what she thought in her heart? Akomer belibi hoya. She really meant it. She's a real honest girl. She never lied in her life. She says, in my heart, I really wanted him without any conditions. Yes, he said condition. Bathhouse, meth house, girl, not girl. I didn't care. All I thought about was him, amazing guy. Hi, and therefore we see what? Elamai, we see not like that. We see the Dvarim Shabalev, Enam Dvarim. You gave your consent to it tonight, means you agree with it tonight. In your heart, you thought otherwise. We don't have x-rays into your heart, lady. Even in case of Kula, wow. And you're going out to the market, to the shuk without a get. Yeah. The Gemara, again, we want to reject that too. Dog the Gemara the Dilma, maybe over it's different. Why? The Dilma, shiny hosam. The Gemara is now trying to. The Gemara is about to try not to reject Rava's idea, but to reject the attempt of Abaye to bring a proof from our Mishnah to Rava. Maybe our Mishnah does not reflect on the case of Rava of Dvarim Shabalev. Why? The Dilma, we're going to see Rashi now. The Dilma may be shiny hosam. Over there, it's different in the case of the girl who nicely nods her head to all these conditions, and then she said, I didn't care about the condition. Maybe that's different. Why different? Shiny hosam, the Kevin the Atnei, since he's the one who made the conditions, Lav kol kamina, she doesn't have the authority, she doesn't have the power, the akrala litnoe. She cannot uproot his tonight. Rashi. Kevin the Atnei, we go to the narrow lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, berech 7, 8 lines from the narrow lines. Line starts with the words v'hainu kula. Kevin the Atnei. Shepira shnoi befiv. He says outright the condition under the chuppah, I am marrying you on condition that I live 1 minute away from the bathhouse. Okay. Lav kol kamina, she doesn't have the ability, the authority. She cannot uproot it with just thoughts of her heart. Why? She cannot say, really, yeah, she should have protested and said, I still want you. Be mekadesh me without tonight. I want you without it knowing. In other words, when a person, let's take the case of the guy who wants to move to Eretz Yisrael, right? The case of Dvom Shabalev. The case over there, we may say that Dvom Shabalev are Dvoim. Why? Who's in charge of the whole story? A guy wants to move from New Jersey to Eretz Yisrael. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows there's a big lover of Eretz Yisrael. His whole life, that's what he wanted to do. Married off all his children. Now he wants to move to Eretz Yisrael. It's well known, right? He's selling his house. Self-explanatory. He's selling the house in order to move to Eretz Yisrael. He didn't say a word at the time of the sale, but clearly everybody knows. And we highly, highly, highly assume that the buyer also knows that, right? Okay. And now we say the guy didn't manage to move to Eretz Yisrael, didn't work out. B'chlal, he didn't even make it to the plane. I want to stress that because the other case is later. He didn't go to Eretz Yisrael, things didn't work out. And therefore what? Let's go against Rova now. Let's now be devil's advocate and say no. Now I can go back and say, listen, everybody knows I sold the house. Why? To move to Eretz Yisrael. I didn't move. The sale is off. The sale is out. I want to back. I want to. I'm bringing my car to the garage right now, and I want to now move into my bedroom. Right? No, that's definitely a havana. There's such a havamina before Rava. Maybe that's true. Either Mishnah. The Mishnah is not the same. Why? But the Mishnah here there was a kapar situation. We assume he wanted to move to Eretz Yisrael. Let's follow that. In the Mishnah, that's not the case. In the Mishnah Dvar Shablev and Dvarim because he made the opposite condition. It's as if, let me give you a good example. Imagine yourself in the case of the guy who wants to move to Eretz Yisrael, that the guy who knows about the Zionistic approach or the one who wants to make Aliyah, the buyer would say, I want to buy your house, even if you don't move to Eretz Yisrael. And the guy would say, that's different. In this case, it was the negative. There was the opposite condition. The guy told her under the chuppah, black and white, in front of the two Eidim, and 5,000 people attended the wedding, and the photographer, and the caterer, and everybody, and Yaakov Shweki, everybody was there, and he told her, I am Mekadesh you only on condition, clear condition, that I have a house next to the bathhouse. And she was like, it's as if she mamish said, I agree. That's much worse, right? Right? And therefore, there we can say, Dvarim Shablev and Dvarim, the Dvarim Shablev had to fight clear words. Mamish words that he said, and she agreed. It's as if she herself said, I am willing to marry you only if this. That's different. That's much worse than stam, a general understanding. That's not general understanding, right? The case of the chuppah was mamish tonight on the other side. Only Kiddushin, only if there's a bathhouse, nothing else. And she was like going along, yes, 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 even without saying anything. Yeah, shtika koido. It's as if she mamish said the opposite, right? It's not the case like the house where there's a sale and there's like a general understanding. Maybe general understanding is good enough. There's no contra against the understanding goes to Eretz Yisrael. It's not like you have the other guy saying, this house will be mine and I'm the buyer, even if you don't move at all. So in the power situation, you can say the general ambiance, the general understanding of moving to Eretz Yisrael is a good condition. It's not the same. Now we're coming to the final, as far as I remember, we come to the final, we're going to bring the final source. Ella Omer Rav Chia bar Avin. But therefore, says Rav Chia bar Avin, Ella, we're rejecting this answer, looking for another source for Rove. Ella Rav Chia bar Avin, says Rav Chia bar Avin, Uvda Hava Bei Rav Chisda. There was such a story, such a case, a BSD case, that was brought into the house, the Bes Medrash of Rav Chisda, some kind of case of Dvarim Shabalev, maybe a guy wanting to move to Eretz Yisrael. The Rav Chisda be Rav Huna. Rav Chisda didn't know the halacha, and he went to Rav Huna to find out the emes. Yeah, Rav Chisda went to Rav Huna's Bes Medrash, like one Rav is asking another Rav, what does he think? Upashtu ameho, and they both came to the same conclusion. They clarified the issue following the following Mishnah. We're talking about Me'ilah. Yeah, Me'ilah, as we saw at the beginning of the Perek. Tell me two things about Me'ilah. Me'ilah normally, when do you have to bring a korban on Me'ilah? B'shoigig or meizid? Shoigig. Yeah, you thought you're the gizbar, you are the treasurer, let's say, you have hekdesh hekdesh money in your house, and you thought that it's not hekdesh money. You used it up. You are mo'el. You mistakenly embezzled the money. You took that money, which is supposed to be hekdesh, to buy a korban, let's say. What did you buy with it? You bought with it a tie. Okay, very nice. Unknowing that it's hekdesh. What do you have to bring? A korban. Awesome. Very nice. Now, what happens if you send a shliach? Who's at fault there? You and not the shliach. It's an exception to the rule of ben shliach dvar. Let's assume both sides are mistaken. Yeah, I made the mistake and I told the guy, hey, please, can you take that money on the windowsill? Yeah, in the blue box. Right, yeah, that one, yeah. And can you please take this and buy a tie for me? Yeah, for Purim, a Mickey Mouse tie. And he says, yes, he bought me a Mickey Mouse tie for Purim. And then what? Who's at fault? Who's going to bring the korban? The meshalech. It's an exception to the rule. Not the shliach, but the one who sent him, the brains, not the hands. Okay, that's just a general introduction. Okay, the person told his shliach, "Haveli min chalon, bring me some money from the windowsill." Yeah, he told him, you know, there's money on the windowsill. Yeah. Oy min adluskema, from the box. Yeah, and he told him particularly, let's say on the windowsill there are two boxes, blue and red. Take money from the blue box, okay, and buy something with it for me, a tie or something for, yeah, okay. Buy something with the money that's in the blue box for me. And he brought him. So now, eventually they found out, that this money in the blue box belonged to Ekdesh. Classical case of Me'ilah. Who has to pay? The Choimesh and bring the Osham. The Balabais, the one who owns the money, doesn't own the money. The really technician's money, the one who started trouble, who told him to buy. Okay, that's a normal way. After Bishoma Balabais, the Balabais, the sender, even if he said, Lo belibi ela al zeh, he says, no, oh no. I said the blue box, but really I meant the red one. Oh, how silly I was. No, really, believe me. I didn't mean the blue box, which was Hekdesh. It just was slip of the tongue. I meant the red box, which is my money, and by mistake, I told him to take from the blue box of Hekdesh. So really, he did not even fulfill my wish. So I'm not chayev, because he's not my shliach. What did we say about shliach? If a shliach does something which I didn't ask him to do, he's not my shliach, he's not my long arm. Therefore what? I'm potter and he's chayev. That's halacha. If shlichus doesn't work, then he's going to be chayev. We say, no, it doesn't work. Kevin Shevelo Mizeh, since the shliach brought him from the blue box that as he asked, Balabais Moal. Balabais is at fault. In other words, we do not believe Balabais' words when he said, I meant the red box, the chulin box, and by mistake I said the hekdesh box. V'amai, akomer bilibi. Why don't we believe him? He really said that in his heart he meant really the chulin box, which I call the red one, yeah? Not the hekdesh. Why don't we believe him? Oh, you see, we see the dvom shablev and dvorim. Although the guy could be a very nice, reliable person, or so we assume now, but he says, listen, I really didn't mean what I said. I meant the chulin box. So what he did has nothing to do with me. And a potter, and yet we don't believe what's in his heart. We believe what's in his mouth. Oh, so what do you see? You see, Rav is right. Zog the Gemara, no. As we all know, you know how much is Chomish and Osham? It's a lot. You want to start going to Yerushalayim now in the middle of the workday? You want to start bringing a whole ram, a big sheep? Yeah, a ram, not a sheep, a big one, yeah, a year and a half old, yeah? You want to start bringing now the whole amount back to Beis Hamikdash plus Choimesh, which is a lot of money. You're trying to get away with murder. You're trying to get yourself off the hook, and you are, not nice to say, lying through your teeth. The Dilma maybe Shani Hossam over there. Of course, we don't believe him over there. The lemiftar nafsheli korban kaosi. He just wants to exempt himself, getting off the hook from bringing a korban, right? In other words, could be that normally speaking, generally speaking, when it's an honest case of a guy who really wanted to move to Eretz Yisrael. Everybody in Cherry Hill knows he wants to move to Eretz Yisrael. It's really the emes, yeah? And he really didn't manage. He's not playing games. He's an honest person, and we all know that. And he says, listen, isn't it self-explanatory that once I'm not in Eretz Yisrael, I want to move back to my house, and the deal is off? Maybe, yes, maybe he's right. You're comparing it to the guy from Me'ilah? About that the guy from Me'ilah is lying, or very likely that he's lying, because he's starting telling us tall tales. I said this, but I meant that, a politician after elections, yeah? I said this and I said that because this and that. He wants to get away with murder. It doesn't reflect on a normal case. Zog the Gemara, no. Answers the Gemara. If he wanted to lie, he could have said a better lie. Mezid hoyisi. We have to add the word mezid hava or mezid hoyisi. Says the Gemara, no. You know what? We really believe him. Because if all he wanted to do is lie in order to get away with murder, meaning to get away with not bringing a korban, he could have said that was mezid, as I gave you the introduction. If a person is bemezid, it's potter from korban, right? It's not really amigo. I knew you're going to ask this. I knew I'm together novi almost with you. No, it's not. It's not mamishmigu. It's possible that it's enough to say that it's regular dvarim shabalev. It's dvarim shabalev. If he chose to say to point out the difference between what he thought and what he said, it's regular dvarim shabalev. You want to tell me he only did it in order to lie? To lie could have had other lies. The other potential good lies, not even better lies. He could have lied. He's amazing. So Mimela, we don't assume it's because he's trying to lie. It's simple. Dvarim shabalev. The Gemara right away rejects it anyways. No. A person doesn't want to say it was amazing. A lie has to be a good lie that would make him look good. Nobody wants to make a lie that would make him look worse, right? Yeah. In other words, if he says I was amazing, ooh, you think your kids are going to get shidduchim like that? You think that community will respect you if you say bemazed? I took Hekdesh's money to buy myself some nice silk tie. Of course, that's not a good lie to say, right? Says the Gemara, and therefore back to what? Therefore what? We believe him that it's only Dvarim Shabalev. No, sorry, they really wanted to lie. He wanted to lie, and the only good lie would be the lie of, I didn't mean what I said. But he's lying in order to get away with murder. Because to say mazid is not a good way to get away with not bringing the korban. Answers the Gemara, and that's the final thing. Final conclusion. Listen carefully. Nizkarti. The Tanan or the Tanya, Nizkar Balabais, Velo Nizkar Shliach Moal. If he wanted to lie, he could have had not necessarily a better lie, but an alternative lie. He could have said as follows: I told the guy 9 o'clock in the morning, Erev Purim, I told the guy, take the money from the blue box, buy with it for me, please, a blue tie. Okay? And then while he was on his way to the tie store, to the men's clothes store, what happened then? I remembered, they take this money, Wi-Fi didn't work, the phone didn't work, or maybe it happened in times of Beis Hamikdash, I couldn't catch him, couldn't copy him, didn't answer his phone, and therefore he went in and bought the tie. In such a case, everything would have been perfect. I'm a good guy, I made an honest mistake, I even remembered on time, and korban, I put her for beginning a korban. Why? Because once the toast, the mistake, which is an essential part of Me'ilah, is not the mistake of the Baal Abais, of the Meshaleach. Mimela, the Shliach himself becomes regular rule of what? Of Ein Shlech Ledvar Avera. If I send someone to Chas v'Sholom murder someone, who's chayev? The hitman, the murderer, not the Meshaleach, not the mafioso who sits in the top floor in Manhattan, the guy who does the dirty job. You know that. What? The one who pulls the trigger. Same thing over here. Once the Shikha, which is an essential part of Me'ilah, is not connected to the Meshaleach, the Shlech would be chayev, would be great. Within a perfect lie. If you wanted to lie, could have said, no, listen, I am now what? I told him, I made a mistake. I remembered the mistake. It was too late to inform him. Now he should bring the korban because he's the one making the mistake and he's the one acting, and I'm a good guy. It would have been perfect. Elamai, that would have been a good lie. Therefore, mitzad ne'emonus, he has other ne'emonus. I'm beginning to doubt myself. Maybe it's similar to Migo. Migo is usually in Beis Din. I don't like to say Migo over here, but it's similar to Migo. Therefore, now let's listen carefully to the maskana. Mitzad trying to get away, he could have gone away much better, much cleaner and better. So why is he saying now, oi, I didn't mean the blue box, I meant the red box. Makes him look stupid. You know why? Because he's really believed. We really believe him. We believe him 100% that he meant the good box of the chulin and not the blue one, the red one, the good one of the chulin. He didn't mean the Egdish. But what can we do? We believe you as much as you can. We believe the guy wants to go to Eretz Yisrael. He's not playing shtick. He really wanted to make Aliyah, and everybody knows that. And he really, on his way to JFK, there was an accident. Then his shviger told him not to, and then his wife refused. It's true. But Lamaisa Dvarim Shablev and Dvarim. Just like over there, we believe an honest mistake because it is honest. Because if he wanted to lie, could have lied better. He's honestly telling us, I really, really did put me on a polygraph. I really didn't mean the hektish money. I meant the chulin money. We say, we don't care. We don't care. We don't care. Since you said to your shliach, take it from the blue box of the hektish without knowing it's hektish. If you meant otherwise, you just slipped your mind and you meant red and you said blue. Could happen, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you meant. What's important is what you said. That's exactly what Rava said. Since at the time of the sale, he did not mention anything about Eretz Israel, therefore, we wish you good luck. Try and make Aliyah again. The house now belongs fully to the buyer and not to the seller, because the seller did not make any condition at all, or even a remnant of a condition, that the sale is only in order to go to Eretz Israel. You know which country we are right now. We're North Korea, and because it's 7 minutes, 7 minutes to the end of Shiur, then you can ask all your questions. Okay, all the questions can be asked in 7 minutes. We'll be back to liberty. I hope. What? Yes, I'm sure. If the question is important, you'll remember it. I'm sure it is important. I'm sure you have a good question. Story time. Real time story. A person sold his house, Adaita lemesa cloud Israel, and in his mind he wanted to go to Eretz Israel. And here Rashi says, yeah, and he said it, and he said it. He said, "I'm moving to Eretz Israel at the time of the sale. Hey, Mr. I don't know, Ruben Feldstein. Yeah, here I'm selling your house, and I'm going to Eretz Israel. I got it all right. My kids are in school there, and everything, all good." Salik, he went up to Eretz Israel. Very, very sad. It's not science fiction. He made Aliyah, and he didn't manage. He didn't manage Loiderle, school system, Parnoso. Didn't manage. Yeah, didn't manage to stay in Eretz Israel. Rashi says there was no Parnoso, no good dira. Didn't manage to. So what did he do? Went back to America. Oh, so what's halacha now? Oh, wait. Here there is a kind of condition. Only if I move to Eretz Israel, then yeah, the sale is a sale. He moved to Eretz Israel, and 2 months later, back in America, right? Omarove, called the Salik. Well, clearly, if I tell you, mister, I'm moving to Eretz Israel, I want to live in Eretz Israel, not to be homeless and my kids out of school. When I say I'm moving to Eretz Israel, I mean move to Eretz Israel, and it's only a point of no return once I move to Eretz Israel and I live here and my kids are in school and I have an apartment and I have a flat and I have a parnosa. That's what I mean, being in Eretz Israel. Once I move soon enough because I'm not managing at all, I don't have where to live, clearly it's not what I meant. And since I did mention to you that I'm moving to Eretz Israel at the time of the sale, out of my house in Cherry Hill, the whole deal is now revoked automatically because I didn't really fulfill the condition. That's one opinion. Ikadamri. Others say no. Adaita lemesak. No. Comes Mr. Buyer of the house and he says, "Excuse me, you said you want to move up to Eretz Yisrael." It's confusing because I kept using up until now the term making Aliyah. Making Aliyah. No, Mesak means to be in Eretz Yisrael. Maybe you went, did you go to Eretz Yisrael? Yes. Did you learn Eretz Yisrael? Yes. Yeah. Ben Gurion? Yes. Took the taxi? Yes. Came to Ramat B'Shemesh? Yes. Got into a house? Yes. In, out, rented apartments here and there for months. You had months of Michigan. So what? You were in Eretz Yisrael. So if you follow the cold letter of the law, the house is now mine. Because you said you're selling the house in order to go to Eretz Yisrael. You went to Eretz Yisrael. You didn't manage that. That's not my problem. So that's a machlokas. These are two ways to look at it. Do we say that the condition is to be in Eretz Yisrael and properly settle down, or to be in Eretz Yisrael? You were there for, I don't know, a week, 2, 3, didn't manage, go back. Not my problem, says the new owner, and I'm the new owner, and I'll stay here. These are the two tzaddim, because your condition was fulfilled. You didn't make Aliyah. You were in Eretz Yisrael. You went up. You had the experience. Now, one last story. Au Gavra, a person sold his assets, his house, oh, he did not go up to Eretz Yisrael, Bichlal. He didn't go to Eretz Yisrael. Okay, fine, he didn't go. Omar Bashi. So now, what does he want to do? You know what he wants to do now? He wants to move back into his house. Yeah. Why? Because he said, he mentioned it. I'm only going in order to go to, I'm only selling you in order to go to Eretz Yisrael. Now he changed his mind. I'm not going to Eretz Yisrael, so give me back my house. I changed my mind. Amar Avashi, Iboi Solik. If he wants to, he can go up. What do you mean? What kind of nonsense is that? You said you're going to Eretz Yisrael, so go to Eretz Yisrael and leave the house with the guy. Yeah, there's no time limit to that. Now make Aliyah. Make Aliyah now. If you don't make Aliyah, you can now revoke the thing. You're saying, I'm going to Eretz Yisrael, therefore I'm selling the house. Who lets you change the condition all of a sudden? Make Aliyah, mister. Once you make, therefore the house should stay by him, and you make Aliyah. You fulfill your side and let him stay in his new house. Ikadamri, others say a similar idea. Iboy loy solik. Is there anything that's stopping him from going? It's the same idea, but spoken like a Jew in a question. If he wants to, can't he go up? Can't he go to Eretz Yisrael? My benai, what's the difference? You're saying the same thing again, right? Yeah, it's the same idea. Let him go to Eretz Yisrael and leave the guy alone in his new house. Fulfill your part of the condition. What's the difference between saying make Aliyah or what stops you from making Aliyah? Is there anything stopping you from making Aliyah? The second one is more forgiving. Answers the Gemara. Why did he make Aliyah really? Yeah, was he convinced by Satmar? Did they brainwash him in the past, the next 48 hours? No. He heard that the Ar shouted him. He heard that on the way from his house in Bavel to the house in Eretz Yisrael, there are listim. Yeah, on the way there are highwaymen, there are robbers who attack people. So he's scared to go. He's scared to go. Oh, so according to the Lishna Kama, we say, we say, go. He says, I can't go. I'm not playing games. I really can't go, right? Because I'm sorry. Yeah. In other words, actually, no, I'm confused now. There's Machlokes Rishonim here how to learn this Gemara. Rashi and the Ritva. Let's follow Rashi. Today I'm Rashi. Today into Rashi. Rashi says as follows. According to the first Lishna, let's read Rashi inside. Let's read Rashi inside. It's the last Rashi before the Mishnah, the end of the narrow lines. The difference between the first Lishna and the second Lishna, the nafkamina is if there are robbers, highwaymen, but if he really, really wants to, I'm giving introduction, he could have gotten a shayora, a caravan, with what? With security guards. I'm not joking, that's what he used to do it. He could have gotten a caravan with a lot of people, security guards, rechev memugan, bulletproof, and go if he really, really wants to. So he can't, but if he really wants to, then he can. There's the difference between the two Lashonas. Let's see how Rashi expresses it. Says Rashi, Shama shoyu listim baderech. He heard that there are listim on the way, there are highwaymen. The Lishna Kama, according to the Lishna that says, go to Eretz Yisrael. Lo hadrin and zbini. We don't revoke the deal, and really the guy should stay in his house, and you should go to Eretz Yisrael. We say go. The first lotion, which is commanding, which is an imperative, go to Eretz Yisrael. You heard that, Robert? Okay. So get yourself a shayora. Go with the next plane, which is more safe. Go in a safe way, in a secure way, and find your way. You made a condition, mister. Stick by your word. But she'ein the Lishna Basra, the kamatma atmuhi, the Lishna Basra says, is there anything stopping him from going? It's mashma shelo shum ikuv. In other words, we say, is there anything that stops him from going? Mashma, if there's any bit of ikuv, then it's already forgiven. If there's any tiny reason for him to be me'akev and not fulfill his dream of going to Eretz Yisrael, the robbers, who says I have the koch to start arranging my own caravan and my own security guards? Who do you think I am? The FBI, the Mossad? No. And therefore we say, if you have any logical side to not make Aliyah and fulfill your side of the condition, we accept it and we forgive you, and therefore the deal is broken, and you go back to your house in Cherry Hill, and the buyer is out. Slacha uvracha, thank you very much. Questions are more than welcome now, as much as you want. The British team has very strong enforcement. What's your name, please? I'm sorry. I want to welcome our first Ellen will talk. Ellen has questions every once in a while. Yeah. Answer. Thank you very much. Thank you to all our viewers in Torah Anytime, to our viewers in our YouTube channel. Guys, we have 104 people on YouTube. Subscribers. Are you subscribed? Are you subscribed, Bichlal, to the channel? Yeah, maybe. Atzlacha uvracha. Thank you. Welcome to our new member. We just made Aliyah. This is so apt. He just made Aliyah. I don't even know your name, but I know you made Aliyah from England. Thank you, everybody. Everyone should come here to Eretz Yisrael. Don't be scared. England is worse.